we all know that the current relationship paradigm in America is in big trouble. I don't think anyone can deny that. But the problem is, people don't want to have the tough discussions about why that is. And I think one of the main reasons they don't want to have those tough discussions is because it's going to force them to look internally. So that's not something that's very popular in today's culture. So, coming up on the show, we'll delve into that and I'll give my perspective. So, stay tuned. What's up, guys? It's the Negro Row. On today's show, I'm going to attempt to give my perspective on why I believe that introspection and self evaluation is one of the key factors that will play a role in reversing the current relationship problems that we have in this country today. And again, it's my perspective, but I think that it's practical and it'll make sense to a lot of people. So let's just get right into it. So I'll use myself as an example. I've been in relationships that people would definitely label as toxic. There's no question that it was toxic. But it took me years before I finally understood and realized my role in that. It was very easy during the relationship to, you know, talk about the things that the other person was doing because they were clear, they were tangible, they were tangibly bad. But I had to figure out, or I had to come to the conclusion that there were certain things that I was doing that was allowing that person to behave that way, as well as encouraging that person to behave that way. Listen, in America, we have so many mental illnesses, and some demographics more than others, and that's a topic that'll be covered in later videos. But for the sake of this video, I want to deal primarily with how our insecurities sabotage a relationship from the very start. And I think it's important that we get to a place to where we can talk about that openly and stop masquerading or stop putting proverbial makeup on that key factor. Because in this society, it is so easy to blame others for why you're not successful in any venture, not just in relationships. We have a society that's cultivating young people who grow up thinking that it's actually okay and it's actually advocated really for children and young people to blame others for why they're not successful. And your own self evaluation, the way that you view yourself, the image you have of yourself in your mind, it pollutes a relationship before it even starts. Simply because if you have a poor self-image, you're going to do a pretty poor job of choosing a partner. You're going to do a pretty poor job of evaluating whether a person is even compatible with you. When you have a poor self-image, you tend to magnetically attract people who have other mental illnesses. And you kind of subconsciously look for people who are broken as well. And I don't know if I'm not a psychologist. I'm not even trying to pretend to be. But in my own experiences, as well as observing others, I found that people who have a poor self-image tend to look for other broken people. And I don't know if it's a subconscious way of downplaying, if you will, just how screwed up they believe they are. And if they find somebody who is perceivably worse off than them, it makes them feel better. I don't know for sure, but I know that is a trend, and that is very common. It's my belief that merely admitting that you have a poor self-image will help you to, at the very least, be more aware of what baggage you're bringing into a relationship. Getting to that place of honesty where you can say, hey, I have issues. I view myself this way. And how might that affect other people? Again, going back to myself, I don't know if I had what one would call a poor self-image, but I had a very negative outlook on life. I had a series of events that had occurred. This is when I was still a pup. I am far from a pup now. But the point is, psychologically, I wasn't equipped to handle it. And but naturally, you're young, you feel like interacting with, people you're attracted to, that's naturally going to lead to some form of a relationship. So I didn't even have the faculties to even begin to break down myself. I was trying to escape myself. And I think that is a huge issue in this country. We're not taught um, methods and formulas to deal with issues. We want to escape issues. We want to run away from ourselves, and we find every distraction we can to keep from engaging in introspection and looking within to self-evaluate. So anyway, at that point in my life, I didn't even have those faculties. But the point is, when I felt that way, it was easy for me to be attracted to someone that I could tell was tangibly broken. I could see that because, what do they say? Like real recognize real. Well, broken recognize broken. And this made this person very attractive to me on a subconscious level. But at any rate, the relationship was unbelievably toxic. Unbelievably. And I won't go into gory detail, but it left trauma, residual trauma, long after that relationship. And it was only when I began to understand my role in it, my own negative outlook on life and my negative self-image, that I began to actually heal from that. It wasn't a therapist. It wasn't, meeting someone else, like the movies say, he helped me heal. Like it wasn't that scenario. It was when I became accountable and when I understood that it's me. Like I was the problem. I was the problem because I brought that person into my life. I magnetically, on a supernatural level, brought that person into my life. And all we did is just toxify one another. I won't pretend to have the magic formula to cure these things. How you deal with that, I'm not here to instruct you. This is not an instructional video, and I'm not a professional. So I can't give you a 10-step program that's going to help you become better at self-evaluation. But what I can tell you is, not just from experience, but just using common sense and logic. If you have a poor self-image, you are not going to have a healthy relationship. You're going to repeat negative, toxic relationships over and over and over. And that's going to require a level of honesty with yourself. You're going to have to take off all the masks and all the things and all these delusions and these fake images to get down to the root of who you are. That's why I always advocate for people being alone, especially when they come out of a toxic relationship. Don't hop right into another relationship as a means of distraction, because again, you're not even equipped or endowed with what's necessary to properly evaluate that person. You're no good. So I strongly encourage people to stay single for a while, to spend that time thinking about who you are, getting to know yourself. And I hate terms like that because I hate all this pseudo philosophy and all these self-help feel good thingies. I can't stand that. And I'm not a proponent of that. That's not what I'm suggesting at all. I'm just sit down, be still, and understand that you have issues that you have to get to the root of. And if you don't get to those issues and gain a healthy respect and a healthy outlook about yourself, you're going to be no good for anyone. That's just the facts of it. So, what did we learn today, class? Poor self-image ultimately leads to poor success in a relationship or lack of success in a relationship. That's just one fundamental thing. Again, when you're talking about relationships, you're talking about a rabbit hole so deep that I mean, I will have content over and over and over and over about certain dynamics within relationships. But again, what do we learn today? Introspection is necessary. Honesty with yourself about yourself is necessary, is non-negotiable. You're not going to be able to masquerade for the rest of your life and blame others for the reason why you're in a poor relationship. It's not that there's not good men out there. It's not that there's not good women. That's not the problem. You're not good. You have to face that. I think that pretty much wraps this video up. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content or if you feel like you've gotten something out of the content. And for now, that's it. All right, thanks guys. I'm Indigo Row and I'm out.